Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy weekend. We are in unprecedented times, which hopefully means number go up, please, way, way up, please, although maybe not too up, because if they go up too high, that's probably a sign that things are broken and there's going to be a lot of pain for people who don't hold Bitcoin. I don't wish that on anybody, although I wish that everybody would hold some Bitcoin, but okay. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you get any value from this video, and leave a comment in the comment section. Al Gore needs some rhythm, so leave a comment in the comment section. On-chain college, new all-time high for Bitcoin, yet realized profit is significantly lower than the last two local tops and prior cycle tops. Yes, this is a good thing, but I just would like to draw your attention to November of 2021. Interesting that that particular time was not pointed out in this chart. And are we reaching a similar period to November of 2021? Well, I have drawn some comparisons, I've said, to be mindful of a November of 2021 peak. We are right now very close to a trend line that is going back all the way back to April of 2021. We hit that in November of 2021. We hit that in December of 2024 and in January of 2025, and we're very close to hitting that again. So is this the fifth point of rejection on that chart? Well, here's the difference. Huge difference between now and November of 2021. Right now, given the level of excitement, in November of 2021, Coinbase was the #1 app in the App Store. Google search interest for Bitcoin was very high. Everyone was long. Funding was so unbelievably one-sided long that where was the pain? The pain was very much to the downside, and the market makers whooped us, okay? This time around, sentiment is very low. Coinbase is now, it just breached the top 300. We're going to see some info about that later on in this video. Funding is also not in favor of the pain being to the downside. And so do we have higher to go? It seems to me very likely that we have higher to go from here, which is a good sign. Do we have this much higher to go? You never know. All right, Skyodelic. I got to give some props. If you remember my video from 2 days ago, and I made a short form video talking about this, this is a Skyodelic tweet where he pointed out the lagging indicator between the DXY and Bitcoin, lagging inverse indicator. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video where I say essentially we have 7 weeks until Bitcoin puts in another local top. So here we go from Skyodelic. I am so bleeping pumped. We have just broken all-time highs, and there's literally zero noise, zero froth, zero excitement, zero interest. If I wasn't confident in pushing 200K Bitcoin this run, I now am. I can't explain to you how bullish it is. And it is that everyone is so unexcited. This means we have so far to go until things get overheated sentiment-wise. Aggregated premium is still in the red, simply wild. LFG. Aggregated open interest weighted average is still in the red. It's barely in the red right now, but the fact that it's in the red at a new all-time high, look at what happened the last time we crossed an all-time high. We were green. We were green for a bit, for a decent amount of time. And so we'll see, but this looks bullish to me for sure. Lots of things that I want to point to in terms of bullishness. If things were overly bearish, I would point you to those bearish things. But willy woo, I've never seen flows into Bitcoin coming in so smooth. It's like institutions are dollar cost averaging with their billions. Ooh, that is something to pay attention to. The idea of institutions dollar cost averaging, and in the future, the idea of nation states dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin. Yes, please inject that into my veins. I know it's a trope, it's a cliche to say we are early, but with Bitcoin, we are early. With altcoins, we might be late. I'm sorry to say that. What if that's true? With Bitcoin, we're early, and with altcoins, we're late. I need to write that statement down. Ooh, that sounds really good. With most altcoins, we're late. Okay. That doesn't mean no alt season. I'm just saying that I like that statement. Brett, okay, speaking of altcoins, here's some short-term altcoin plays. The last time Bitcoin had a clean close above the sideways chop, ETH and Pepe pumped hard. Will we see a massive pump in the coming days? I don't have much ETH. That's just my gas to get in and out of different transactions. But do I have some Pepe? Oh, yes, I have me some Pepe, and I'm hoping to get significant gains on that Pepe. And I've noticed the same thing. When Ethereum does well, Pepe does very well. And there's another one that's just on nobody's radar, and it's been an absolute killer lately. It's Pendle, one of my top 5 favorite cryptos. Okay, so Bitcoin has broken its all-time high. Maybe Ethereum is next to just break out of this short-term range that it's been, and maybe Pepe, the same thing. That tends to happen. I'd be a buyer of all of the above, short-term at least. Back to sentiment. Wowwood, interesting username. Okay, Bitcoin just made a new all-time high while funding is still negative, and Coinbase isn't even in the top 100. Bitcoin all-time high, funding rates flat. Amazing. Amazing. What a time to be alive. Some of you have been asking about this Coinbase app rank bot, unofficial, not associated with Coinbase. Every day, a couple times a day, they tweet the same thing. It seems like every 12 hours. What is Coinbase ranked? And as of right now, it's nowhere near to be afraid. And what's the deal with that? Oh my goodness, this better not happen. All right, I hiccuped again. When Coinbase, in December of 2017, when Bitcoin peaked, Coinbase was the number 1 app. In April of 2014, Coinbase was the number 1. Sorry, 2011. No, not 2011, 2021. My goodness. Okay. In April of 2021, Bitcoin peaked at $64,900. Coinbase was the number 1 app. November of 2021, Bitcoin peaked at $69,000. Wouldn't you know it, Coinbase was the number 1 app. March of 2024, Coinbase got into the top 10. December of 2024, Coinbase got into the top 10. And so with Coinbase in the top 300, barely breaching the top 300, it doesn't seem like it's something we need to worry about right now. But Coinbase being the number 1 app or the top 10 apps seems to mark a local top. And we can see again another thing just pointing out funding rates in most crypto exchanges are at baseline or below it. This is the least euphoric new all-time highs in the history of Bitcoin. It is literally, that is not an exaggeration. This is the least euphoric new all-time high in Bitcoin. And my goodness, what's going to happen if euphoria returns? Wow. That means that we have a lot of money to make between now and then. If euphoria returns, no blow off top from Swiss Block here. New all-time high, no blow off top, no vertical candle, just steady, relentless pressure like a dam giving away. One fracture at a time. Bitcoin isn't sprinting, it's marching. I agree with this. Now I know, okay, it sounds like parabolas, right? Bitcoin went from 74,000 to 111,000 in the span of a month, a little bit over a month and a half or so. But this is not a blow off top, not even close. If you were here in 2013, which I was barely here in 2013, but if you were here in 2017, you know what a blow-off top feels like. This feels nothing like a blow-off top. I remember being on social media in 2017, and just all over Facebook, people were going crazy about Bitcoin. And now if I were to scroll through social media, my Facebook at least, how many hours would I have to scroll before even finding a single post about Bitcoin? We are marching. We are not blowing off, not even close. In today's astronomy, did I get that right? Astrology, I don't know. Astrology, yes. In today's astrology, am I a believer in astrology? No. Am I a believer that enough people believe in astrology that it's going to affect the price? Yes, I am. And that's the big thing. New moon, full moon, strawberry moon, whatever the heck that is. I have no idea what a strawberry moon is. But okay, there's something to this, and maybe it's just herd mentality, whatever it is, or maybe there is some actual juju juice in the air. I don't know. But charting guy, we are in this time frame of a local top around 526 new moon, plus or minus 5 days, so 521 to 531. Then usually a dip into the full moon with a local bottom June 11th, and then a rally to the peak The local top, July 6th. Did I say July 6th? I don't remember what day it was. Something like that, give or take, you know. That's all just referencing a previous video. Although, because of the strength, it was just like last time, this window could be more sideways chopped than lead to a dip. So it's not necessarily that a full moon would lead to a dump, but last full moon, it was just chopped. So new moon, May 26th, full moon, strawberry moon, extra bonus there. So, you know, be extra prepared. I have no idea what I'm talking about with a strawberry moon, but strawberry moon, baby. Let's do this. That's going to be really scary. So, you know, I'm just exaggerating. I don't know. What's a strawberry moon? Okay, a little bit of water on this parade, a little bit of rain on this parade, but you know, look at how long it takes to play itself out. So here we go again. The 2-year to 30-year yield spread is another intermarket relationship that has been working as a reliable leading indicator for equities. Definitely worth watching. And so if this is the case, this is not a V-shaped, if this is how it's going to play itself out, this is not a V-shaped recovery for the S&P 500 and assuming the NASDAQ as well, but we are at the point of a local top. But again, you know, I just want to point out that Bitcoin has in many ways been more decoupled from the stock market than at any other time that I can remember. But then also, given how much time it takes to play itself out, it's not necessarily that we have to worry all that much for the next month or month and a half when it comes to crypto. Bitcoin can continue to rise. Altcoins can rise. We could have an altcoin moment. If you want to call it alt season, so be it. But we have time. That's the deal with this. We'll see where this goes from here. Very interesting chart to continue to pay attention to. And then more rain on the parade, unfortunately, but this is more long-term. And they all laughed when I explained why a U.S. default was inevitable within 4 years. My goodness, U.S. credit default swaps. Look at this chart. We have certainly spiked up in the last, this is going back to 2010. So in the last couple of years here, last few years here. No, sorry, this isn't 2010. This is days, not years. But still, what a spike up in credit default swaps. If you don't know what a credit default swap is, if you ever watched the movie The Big Short, that was the big thing. Michael Burry went to Wall Street and got that product created. He wanted to invest in credit default swaps with housing, and that didn't exist in 2005. But he went there. They were like, "We'll gladly take your money," thinking that it was a sucker's play. And in the same deal, there's credit default swaps for the United States, for the government, for bonds. And wow, will the United States default on its debt within the next 4 years? Oh my goodness, I don't even know what that would look like, but it's an above zero chance. So be prepared. Don't get too greedy. The party could end at any point, literally any point. But anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. And I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace. Peace. Peace.